evening, and welcome to the Team 7 podcast. We are back with another batch of episodes. We're in season 2 now, Shippuden. Episodes 33 through 39. What did we call this? The Tenchi Bridge Reconnaissance mission is the name of this arc. So we just started it. Let's get right into it. What y'all think? Lots of crop top.
All
right.
Eno got a crop top too.
Yeah, go Eno.
We got speaking of Eno, we got a lot of reintroductions of some of our old friends. Choji's back, Kiba's back. Akamaru is huge, and Kiba somehow never noticed. What's up with that?
Yeah, he's huge.
He's like, oh, I'm with him every day. I didn't notice he was massive now.
I like that explanation, though. That's real. I mean, not to that scale. That's ridiculous. But like, we have a puppy who's 5 months old, and I'm like, he looks the same. And then I look at pictures, and he was like this big once. So he never lived on my head or anything.
Yeah, it's tough to have a puppy actually live on your head. I tried. So yeah, we did get like the rest of the introductions for the Shippuden updates, like character design wise. Choji, I think, gets a pretty big glow up. I like that.
Yeah.
And
he's got the flow, bro. He's got that nice hair.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean?
A little Fabio up there.
Let's see. Who else did we meet? Okay. So Shino.
What? Shino's a little salty.
Yeah.
What happened? Okay.
I don't know.
Here's why I don't think it's warranted. He was never around. He was always off doing other missions. Like, and he comes back and he's like, "You didn't recognize me."
Well, his face is covered. Like,
yeah.
There's that too.
And Naruto even says that. He's like, "Your face is entirely covered. How am I supposed to know?"
Here's the deal. As annoying as that scene was, it doesn't taint my view of Shino. I think that dude is hardcore. I want to see more of him. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
We get a lot of Hinata as well, just blushing and passing out, and not too much of a glow up. She looks a little older, I guess, but I'm assuming she's more powerful, hopefully. It'd be cool.
Yeah, we get to spend some time with her a little bit down the road, so
cool.
We'll get all that. Yeah, so we meet everybody, and then we're introduced, which I went back and checked because I was like, did I really spoil that he was going to be on the team before they actually said it? But Donzo says it at the end. He says, I've already arranged for you to be on Team Kakashi. So that's where that was coming from. I don't know, but just wanted to call that back from last episode. So Sai is officially introduced to the team. I think the initial interactions between Naruto and Sai, and then Sakura, as this third piece that is a wild card from time to time as far as how she interacts with Sai, I love it. And I think in both the dub and the sub, the line that Sai delivers where he's like, "Oh, I don't think much of it at all, ugly." And then she's like flabbergasted, just absolutely blown away. And I think that it's funny every time.
Yeah, I might have a hot take on Sai, but Sakura's interactions with him to me are funny. I love that she's sticking up for Naruto in a weird way, but still has his back, which we haven't seen much of. But of the four, he's the only one that she's got history with. So I'm thankful for that. But my hot take is no disrespect to Hashimoto at all, but I feel like Sai's character is lazy drama. They could have easily made him, and again, this is first impressions. We have plenty of time with them that I haven't seen, but I'm just why do they have to have beef? Naruto has had something wrong with somebody since the beginning. Why can't they just work well together? and it seems unnecessary for him to be like as cold as he is. And I don't know, it's a little annoying to me in these episodes. I'm just like, why has he got to be like that? Why has he got to be like, it is funny. It is funny in the moments where he's like, taking little jabs at things, but like, I don't know. It just feels like an easy way to make it a little more dramatic. And I would love to see them be in unison, and the drama comes from the actual story of the enemies that they're trying to seek out and figure out what's next with. But that's my hot take with Sai. I feel like it's just the easy way out of making it a little more spicy.
Spicy. I feel like I'm equally annoyed with you, but it's for a different reason, because I think Sai's character is pretty great. I love that there's somebody who's just so like socially unaware. It's also really interesting that Naruto treats him the way he does, and I think it's just because this is a new person. Like, yeah, it's not Sasuke, and also I don't think he understands him like at all. That seems pretty clear like through these episodes. But I like his character. I like their interactions because it seems pretty like true to life as far as the people they've interacted with so far versus this guy who's just kind of out there for them, I'm sure. Overall, though, this is my least favorite batch of episodes that I think we've watched, simply because we have like two new people and they're not gelling. So similarly, like annoyed with that. And I was just like, oh, I have like a bad feeling through all of this. So
yeah, in episode 34, I wrote a note at the very end. I was like, when they discover that Yamato is going to be the code name Yamato for whoever he is going to be the stand-in for Kakashi, I was like, well, I mean, the next obvious person to lead Naruto would be Jiraiya. Like, I'm disappointed they didn't choose Jiraiya. And I know Jiraiya's off doing other things, and there's this and that. And then Jiraiya comes in the next episode, and he's not doing anything. He's just there to, like, inform Yamato on what's up.
No, hold on. What Jiraiya's there to do is take his shirt off and show that freaking 8-pack he's got going on. He's fit for like what, 50 something? Holy shit.
And
killing it.
No, I was just going to kind of give some context on some things, but I want you to continue before I respond.
I was just going to go into the damage that Naruto did with the 9-tail cloak, and there was like, what, 6 tails on it? It looked like. And 3 of them were like almost there, so they're like working on it. But major damage to ripped Jiraiya.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with like how strong Jiraiya is, that's a testament to how ridiculous Naruto is whenever he's like being like possessed by the 9 tails. Yeah, so Sai, I wouldn't call him unnecessary drama personally, but I obviously have knowledge of what's to come. But I think that he and Naruto have their own sort of like arc that's to come that will kind of solidify where Naruto stands on Sai, whether that's good or bad. Right now, we just don't know anything about Sai. Like, we know that like he seems to not feel a single thing. And I don't say seems there to like hint at anything. It's just that like that's all that we've been told, is that he like literally doesn't feel a thing. And then personally for me, I think that Yamato is a really nice addition. I think that he's immediately very respectable because he's so strong, and we've not seen jutsu like his at all. so he's very respectable. But then also, I think that the like interactions between him and Naruto, where he like kind of like lays down the law, but it's very like funny in the show. I think that that makes him admirable, just because it's just funny. The way that he'll be like, "Do you have a problem with that?" and just stare at him, and it's like the creepiest face ever.
Yeah.
And Naruto's like, "No."
Yeah,
So
I like his scary face too.
yeah, I really like Yamato. I think he's a great addition for the team. But to answer about like why is Jiraiya not the immediate choice, what?
I had another Ochimaru moment. I'm looking at my notes, and I remember I said Hashimoto, and it's Kishimoto. So again, no disrespect.
Oh, dude, amazing. Yeah. So,
Oh, Jiraiya, you're going to give
Respectable.
context. Like,
yes. So, Jiraiya not being the initial like choice is because he doesn't lead. He wouldn't lead a team like that anymore. He's beyond that part of being a Jonin. And so, like, would it make sense? Like, maybe, but they're still thinking like long term, like Kakashi's going to lead this team. He's just out of commission, so we just need to replace somebody at the same caliber as.
But he's already done that though, in a way. I mean, when we met Tsunade, it was a whole let's lead a mission together.
What do you mean?
He took Naruto on a mission to find Tsunade.
Yeah.
So
but
why is it
he's-
out of scope to go find this person that essentially could, if Shizune is super like cautious about Naruto being intercepted, why wouldn't someone like Jiraiya be an obvious fit? Because he's
Right.
able to do that. We've seen it.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying is like there's a little bit of politics that's at play here because Jiraiya is so obviously on Tsunade's side about it, and it will be for forever because he's just obviously in love with her. But then Donzo is, and the two counselors are influencing it from their side. And that was that whole like political conversation that they were having in the office. And I think 34, where Tsunade calls his bluff and is like, okay, you can suggest a bunch of people, but I will have the final say. And he doesn't say a single thing. And then she's like, I'll choose who I want then. But he suggested, he was like, well, you should have, like, obviously, if it's somebody so important, then you should have somebody from around the Hokage circle that is normally assigned to protecting the Hokage needs to be assigned to protecting Naruto, but also be capable of like leading a team. So that's why Yamato is chosen by Tsunade, is because she knows that she can count on Yamato to be honest and even report back to her stuff like on Sai, where she's like watches every move, and then like he'll still be loyal to her. But it's not as obvious as a choice as Jiraiya being like, hey, he's not led a team in X number of years. And like him taking Naruto to go find Tsunade wasn't a mission handed by the Hokage. Actually, there wasn't a Hokage at that time. So it wasn't like an official mission handed by the Leaf, whereas this reconnaissance mission is an official mission. So to have Jiraiya come in would be a little out of the norm because they've got so many ranks that make sense. Now, I get that Naruto is like an exception here, but overall, they're trying to treat this as like, we just need a sub to come in at the same caliber and just fill the role. And Yamato fit that, as well as hitting the like political marks that would appease Donzo and the counselors as well as Tsunade.
That makes sense. And so Donzo, it's mentioned at some point, like, is he some like leader within the foundation? Is that something that he helped like set up, or we find out about that later, but he supports it basically,
we
right?
will. So yeah, he's the leader of the foundation, which is
Okay.
Basically the training academy or training unit within the Anbu Black Ops. So we'll get way more development on how the infrastructure of the Leaf Village works, which will encompass that. So all we know right now is that he's the leader of the foundation that is within the Hanbu Black Ops. And it's just named the Foundation.
Seems like suspicious. There's something about the name of that just makes me feel like there's something weird going on here.
Well, they're definitely like, even speaking just from like what we've seen, like they're definitely programming of some sort because Sai's so weird. Some sort of brainwash or something, like I don't know. But I mean, I do know, but you know, it's we'll find out with some time. Whether
I'm
or not
assuming
that's like a good thing
politically they're trying to put like a Manchurian candidate in there or something.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he even like alluded to like having problems with the third Hokage and the way that things were done there. And Danzo calls Tsunade Princess Tsunade because she is the granddaughter of the first Hokage, and Danzo and the third Hokage was very close with the first and second Hokage, and Danzo didn't like the way that the third Hokage ran the village, and so he thought that things were the decisions were made incorrectly, and so he now but had no influence over it because he couldn't do anything with third Hokage, but with Tsunade, he's obviously got a much larger say, or thinks he does, and we'll see more of that. But he's definitely, I mean, and even his, like, you can just tell from like his intro song, he's just like creepy, and like I say intro song as if it's like WWE, but
just imagine him like walking into the ring.
That's right, but you know what I mean, like that song that like Orochimaru has one, so does the Akatsuki, and his is pretty
dude. By the way,
well.
yeah, I was gonna say like the Akatsuki thing. I have meant to mention that for 3 episodes now. So here on the 4th episode, where there's no Akatsuki, basically. That's like one of the coolest songs, like coolest themes in the entire series to me. Yeah, it just sounds so good.
Yeah,
and there was another like battle kind of theme throughout the sorcery fight that was really cool too. So shout out to whoever scored all this. It's just really good.
I think that was basically all I was trying to say in regards to Sai and Yamato and kind of
politicking.
Yeah, we'll get more on like there's, like I've said a million times, it feels like the show, we have so many episodes to cover everything. There are a few just holes here and there that are bound to happen with this many episodes and trying to make a manga and anime coexist, but by and large you will get an answer on anything you want an answer on.
Sure.
It's just a matter of time. So they obviously they are moving on as a team, even though they're not really getting along. So they head for the bridge, and we get. I'm trying to think of what exactly happens. I know that they do the simulation, and then Naruto shows a lot of maturity there as well, with stopping and basically being like, I will do whatever it takes, even if it means teaming up with you. Whenever he so clearly hates Sai, I think that shows like how much he is devoted, might be the wrong word, but devoted to Sasuke, or at least devoted to like bringing Sasuke back, or whatever. It's hard to tell what exactly Naruto's objective would be if he was faced with Sasuke right now, because what would you do?
I was going to mention that too, because that was like the main note that I made throughout this whole thing is I get that there's like a possible assassination thing that they would like to carry out on Orochimaru, right? Somebody mentions that. Yamato mentions that specifically. But the note that I made was like, it's just odd that retrieving Sasuke is even on their radar at this point, because he doesn't want to come back. You know, it's not like he's expressed somehow to them or sent a pigeon or a bird or whatever, like, hey, I'm trapped, get me.
Right.
If anything, he was like, screw you guys, like I'm not playing ninja anymore. So I'm saying all this just to agree with you, and I want to know what you think about that, Zach, too. Like what is the point of like going after Sasuke at this point?
I mean,
Love,
do I love that
Devotion.
they're doing that?
brotherly love is what I meant.
Yeah. Like, are you talking about Naruto and Sakura, or are you talking about the Leaf as a whole?
That's a good question too. I hadn't really thought about the Leaf as a whole, so I guess I was thinking more Naruto, Sakura,
So for
Sasakura.
for Team Kakashi specifically, I would say it's a love. It's
Yeah, that's our boy.
it's a denial of betrayal. You know, he's drunk on this power of like having to follow in his brother's footsteps, and we've got to at least do everything we can to help him see what he's doing to himself. On a Leaf Village as a whole, Sasori kind of split that up for me a little bit, because Sasori, like, we're meeting this, spy at the bridge. We find out that it's Kabuto, and something that dawned on me that I was like, I literally predicted in like 32 that this is Kabuto. I was like, I guarantee you they're going to go meet Kabuto. But what I wasn't expecting is the fact that Sasori can put people under a kind of a spell. And so I almost wonder if they're not convinced that Orochimaru can do something similar. And that's why Sasuke is like hell-bent on going to work for him. Maybe it's something they're just like curious. Maybe he's doing something to Sasuke that we're not aware of that we need to interfere with.
Curse mark.
So
could
curse
be.
mark. And even something else they're just not aware of. But to me, that's not out of the realm of possibility. And so they're thinking, rather than love, it's like we could be forgetting a factor here that maybe we've just got to like give another effort towards this. That's my thoughts there.
I could see that from like Yamato's perspective, or even Tsunade or something, but yeah, I don't know. I hadn't thought of that at all. I like that.
It definitely is within the realm of possibility. I mean, with the curse mark's a great example, but they also even say on the bridge, whenever Yamato is still under like the clone jutsu or whatever it's called, where he looks like Sasori, and he says to, or maybe it was after he broke out, I'm not quite sure, but it was said like, how do I know that you're not under Orochimaru's jutsu, because he's the one that broke it? And then Kabuto says, well, I just happened to align with Orochimaru's ideals,
right?
Or he's empathetic or something along those lines. But
he did say empathetic. That was interesting.
Yeah, I think he definitely could have something over Sasuke that we've not known or not been shown yet. So it's a good thought. So yeah, this batch wasn't, there's just a lot of setup here. There's build up and team development between the three of them. I mean, we spend a whole episode at a spa.
Hot Springs.
So yeah. So I mean, cool to watch. It's whatever, but ultimately there's just not a lot going on here. The next batch is the culmination of all 7 of these.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of ball talk in that one too, and then
that's what I was going to say, man.
Naruto being the least sneaky person in the world when he realizes like Sakura's over there with no clothes on.
Yeah, and
ridiculous.
The draconian story of like what Tsunade did to Jiraiya, kind of kept him in locked in one spot, and Sai was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go in, it's getting pretty hot, you should probably get out before you pass out. And he's just like full red, like one color. It's not even like trying to be shaded. It's just, just a single shade, which leads me into another thing that I want to come back to is color. But the first thing I want to talk about is how cool Yamato's ability to work with wood is, because he gets that from the first Hokage. Is that what that we discover? Super cool. I mean, talk about glamping on a whole new level. Like, he just straight up built a house in like 5 seconds.
I love that Sakura even says, "Can you call this camping?"
Right. And I mean, they were comfortable for the night. Like, what? That's awesome. But the color comment comes from in there when they're doing the little briefing on what's next. I've just noticed in Shippuden, they've really upped their game with like their coloring effects and the way that they portray emotion and stuff. Like, they did that with Hinade in the first episode, and they did that with Naruto in the hot spring, where Naruto was more actually hot and Hinade was blushing. But it's like this singular shade. It's kind of it definitely makes me like, oh, Demon Slayer got some inspiration from some of these scenes and the way that they portray emotion, and it's probably just cultural from where it was originated and developed. But even like when they're around the candlelight and they go into these more like intimate, like closer shots of their faces, and like the fire is like reflecting in their pupils.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we're getting into some like cooler effects. This is cool to see some of the different, tricks and things that they're learning and just experimenting with. So, big fan of that. But it just goes to show how little there was to talk about that I'm going into the color of stuff. But
yeah. Well, and as we close in on episode like 70-ish, it's around there. We switched to HD, and the arc that they switched to HD looks incredible. And it's probably the stark difference between like one episode to the next. But like, I believe that they had to have waited. Like, I think that they had to have been like, they knew what the story was. And not that they waited from the beginning of Shippuden, but they probably were like, okay, we can do it now. Maybe this is just a guess. Maybe if they were around like 50, they're like, we can do it now. But if we wait and do it at the start of this arc will look beautiful and really stand out. And I think that it has because of that. Now, I don't have no clue if my guess is correct as far as like their decision making or whatever. But yeah, as we get closer to that, I mean, even looking at the thumbnail of 41, it just looks better drawn than like anything in OG Naruto, obviously, just because it seems that the practices of like anime were becoming more fluid instead of more just like picture based and like only having the mouth moving. Is we saw a lot of just like single picture, just mouth moving in a lot of OG Naruto, because that's just how they filled frames. So yeah, it's exciting to see. And even like the next batch that we have, 40 through 46, there's some fighting in there that looks just worlds better, even from the Naruto Sasuke fight in the final valley at the end of OG Naruto. And that really hasn't been that long ago, canonically. Just like from canon episodes, sorry. Canonically, it's been like 3 or more years. But
in real time, like
in real
animation
time
wise, right?
Yeah, like they released like the end of like Naruto in like 2005, and then like this is like 2007. So I mean, not a lot has changed, but the quality like shot up.
Well, it's even like in scenes where Tsunade and Sakura are just kind of like essentially just gossiping and like trying to like get the tea on Sai and Danzo and even Yamato. The way they lit that office, it wasn't like, if you walked into the third Hokage's office, it was just like everyone's just kind of like it's daytime. But even at nighttime, it's like, I don't know, it's not shaded the way that it was when like Sakura was like looking around and she's out of focus and Donzo comes in the back. Like we just didn't get to see that a lot. And now
That
they're
was
doing that
cool.
where it's kind of like blurring out people and
Yeah.
there's a little more depth to it. And you know, even things like Sai's doodles, his drawings that come out. What is that jutsu called?
Like tailed beast scroll or something like that.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Or twin beast scroll, something like that.
But because everything's getting better at looking better, they were just able to make that kind of 2D and not really try to give it any depth. And it stands out even as itself. Like, it kind of has this like surreal effect to it of like this has, you know, some ability and power when they're really not doing much. They're just, you know, animating a 2D drawing on like a depth filled world now. It kind of stands out more.
For sure. So what did you guys think whenever they, I mean, obviously Zach, you called it with it being Kabuto, but Asher, what did you think whenever you found out it was Kabuto? When did you know it was Kabuto? And also just general reactions or thoughts to Orochimaru showing up and that whole, like, it looked like Kabuto was on Sasori's side and then he wasn't and all that. So, I mean, that's kind of the end of our batch and leading us into 40.
I didn't really. I had a small hunch that it could be Kabuto, but then I was also thinking like we've got so many new characters here, and I'm sure Orochimaru has like just a lot of people in general. I mean, we saw that whole like gas chamber where those people had to fight in toward the end of OG, but I don't know. I wouldn't say I knew for sure until it was Kabuto there.
Yeah.
So definitely didn't predict that. But I think the Yamato stuff there was just cool. I mean, being able to take on the like the body of Sasori and figure out the voice and everything. I thought that was cool.
Finding the voice is hilarious.
Like you sound too polite.
Yeah, I love that.
One of the questions I have in that scene with the simulation is at the beginning when we don't know that it's a simulation, Sasori's walking down the bridge with his little bells. We find out that Sakura as a clone. Later, once we figure out there wasn't any distinction that wasn't Sasori or that wasn't Yamato. And then whenever they do the actual one where he like actually produces a wooden Haruko, they're all super impressed. They're like, man, you look just like him. Why was it more amazing when he did it, but when Sakura was a clone, it was just like, whatever. Like, do clones have a distinction in that world that this is a clone? Or does it really feel like and look like who it is? I just don't understand the difference there because Sakura herself is like, man, you look just like him. And everyone's like, yeah, this is going to be great. But Sakura looked like him too when she was a clone in the training simulation.
I don't know for sure. My guess, and this is my best guess at it, is that it would be tougher to create a clone of someone you never saw. Even if you saw like the clone of someone else do it, like you didn't see all aspects of them. So to recreate that yourself would be tough.
Okay.
My second guess is that Sakura did a transformation jutsu, whereas, and this is actually, now I'm talking about this is what I believe this actually is. Sakura did a transformation jutsu. So you hit that and it just like poofs away. But Yamato used wood to create the Hiroko doll. and then subs or transformation to like create the cloak or whatever, which he's seen the Akatsuki cloak for sure. So no problem for him to do that. But to recreate it out of wood with just his jutsu and it still look right, and also have never actually seen him. That's my best guess. Is just difficult and impressive because he created it on the spot. But
Right.
great point. I mean, it's literally right before they're supposed to meet up, and he's like, "Guess I'll try it out," and they're like, "Oh, it worked." So yeah, that's a good thought.
I guess that makes total sense. And I didn't connect the piece of like, you probably need to know who you're trying to be a clone of and see the dimension and the aspects and the accessories and the features to be able to make it believable. So that totally makes sense. I guess where I was coming from is like the clone itself. Even though you did make it out of wood, would the clone, the shadow clone or transformation, feel like wood too? Like, would it look and feel like actual wood?
No, it would be like his. You'll find out more about this, but like his jutsu creates like real wood, the way that
Right.
like Kisame's creates real water.
Yeah.
So Yamato, like if you went to feel that, it would feel like real wood. Now, what the real Hiroko puppet was made out of was Hiroko the ninja. So I have no clue. It looks like it's wooden and it sounds like it's wooden from like the sounds that they give us in the show. But we're not really told what those puppets are made out of, but we can assume that wood would be at least passable from a visual standpoint. There would be no real reason for Kabuto to ever touch Hiroko besides like punching him like he did.
If Yamato makes a clone of some sort or becomes like someone else, is he going to feel like wood or does that like become skin?
So ask that again. At
Like
first
if
I thought
he
you were trolling me.
No, I'm legitimately wondering if he does some kind of a clone jutsu and becomes someone else who's not a puppet. Because like Sasori's or Hiruko is like conveniently a puppet, so it's like, okay, it makes sense for that to be wood. But like the actual let's say the Akatsuki cloak that he creates over it, that's not going to feel like wood to the touch. Like, is he using a different jutsu to make the clothes part?
Yeah, we're not really.
Does that make
told.
sense?
Yeah, it does. So we're not really told, but ultimately, the thing to understand here is that Hiroko puppet is made out of wood. Yamato, not transformed, is inside that Hiroko puppet. So that's why whenever Kabuto hits it and it smashes, Yamato just comes out of it untransformed. He's just himself because that's what was inside. So he most likely was using some sort of transformation jutsu to create the Katsuki cloak. And when you go to feel that, it would, to my knowledge, feel like that fabric because it's been transformed into it. It would need to take some sort of like lack of chakra from Yamato plus being hit or being hit for that to not be there anymore. Now I can't remember what happens in the scene whenever Kabuto hits it. I can't remember if the jacket goes away or if it shatters like it tears away. If it tears away and there's just fabric, I don't know how to answer that or how to justify that at all. Because there's no reason they would have that Akatsuki cloak. It would just need to be a transformation.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Some nerdy stuff, but
For
that
sure.
was helpful.
So, like I said, the next batch, 4346, is really the culmination of the Tenchi Bridge reconnaissance mission. And then the next batch, which will be the end of season 2 for us, is like its own little separate thing. So we'll obviously find out more about that after this next batch, but I'm really excited for how lackluster this last one was. This next one really will be kind of the direct opposite of that. So looking forward to it for sure. Is there anything else in this batch you guys wanted to talk about before I move us on to a little surprise?
Yeah, just one last thought. I think this is the last thing I have to say. I'm not convinced Sai doesn't feel anything. Like, I'm not convinced he doesn't have feelings. 2 reasons. One, the book. We get that hint with the shadowy figure that visits him in his room before he leaves. I'm guessing it's another companion in the Foundation, or maybe someone that trained him. We're not sure yet.
Yeah.
But he was like reminding him that we don't have a past. 2, when Naruto says that his drawing wasn't anything special, and he looks at him and says, "Oh, just like what's between your legs isn't special." You cannot convince me that guy does not feel like just getting a little bit under his skin.
Oh, for sure.
I do wonder, though, if he just enjoys getting under Naruto's skin, though.
But that's a feeling. You can't say you don't have feelings if you're going to have a drive to do that to Naruto.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. I think that's just a whole...
I think you can still say it, though, if that's like what the Foundation has told you you're trying to get to, maybe. Like, I agree with you. He probably like does have feelings, but I imagine him saying it out loud is him like kind of reaching for that coldness and the, you know, basically being a sociopath is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, my prediction, for Yamato, unless this was mentioned and I missed it because that happens too, but I'm wondering if he's like Tsunade's brother, maybe, just because there's like the wood jutsu and there's this connection to the first Hokage. She's the granddaughter, all that stuff. So I'm wondering if they're like somehow all related or something.
Fantastic theory. I'm not saying it's right. Just fantastic theory.
Yeah, I get that.
I just well thought out. Whether it's right or wrong, you have reasoning, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate you saying that.
That is a fantastic theory, but did we not see that her brother died?
Her lover died.
A brother, yeah.
Oh, and her little brother.
And
that's
her
right.
brother.
Yeah, okay.
So we just conveniently weren't told there's another one that she didn't lose?
It's possible.
I don't know.
Yeah, totally possible.
I guess so. We'll find out.
She never said my only brother.
What about Naruto's brother?
News to me. Wait, Sasuke. That's his brother.
Yeah, or maybe it's someone else named Baruto.
It could be. It totally could be.
Or Faruto.
Or
that's a good one.
Boromir and Faramir. Little Lord of the Rings joke. All right. So our biggest patron,
Gondor calls for aid.
That's right. Right here, is a bookmark that I've shown you guys before of Naruto and Gamabunta. And then it's signed by the voice actor of the dub for Naruto. Connor, who has lent me that, came by yesterday with a surprise for the podcast that is a entire, and I can't show you guys because there's spoilers on the outside of the box, with an entire booster box of Naruto trading cards. So I'm going to open them here on the podcast with you guys. And I'm gonna look at them first and make sure I'm never gonna give you guys any spoilers, because there's definitely stuff from the entire series. But I figured that might be a fun thing to do, just because there's such little content here. So
please,
like, I can't even show you guys. Like, I can show you that Sasuke.
For the sake of the viewers, should we like close our eyes and you show them?
I can, but then Asher has to edit it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's true.
And there could be other people there watching for the first time, so bad idea.
Yeah, doing the
so
watch
I'll just
along.
do it as the episodes. So All right.
You got an entire box or just a pack?
He got an entire box for me, or for
Wow.
us,
Oh my
for the
gosh.
podcast. So right off the bat, we have OG Naruto, and they're like all holographic,
Classic.
which is great. And they're all in Japanese because these
Is
are
this-
straight from Japan.
Is
This
this a
is
new
pop.
run, or are these like vintage?
I don't actually know. I really don't know. He just showed up and was like, I got you this. And I opened 2 packs with him. And then he was like, open them on the podcast. And I said, absolutely.
What a guy.
Holy crap.
What a guy. So then we have Tamari.
What's up, Tamari?
Love it.
And then we have Shikamaru.
Love it.
We will
Nice.
have had this
Make
entire
'em
pack
kiss.
you guys will get to see. And then our secret rare is OG Naruto Sakura, which is
Nice.
pretty nice. So, yeah, I've got, let's see, 27 more packs. So, we'll just kind of do them as you guys want to, if you guys like that or not. We
One
can do
per episode.
whatever from here. But yeah, whatever. I need to like make sure and see how many more Shippuden episodes we are going to have with the podcast, and it might be 1 per episode or more or whatever. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. So thank you, Connor.
Thank you, Connor. What a
you're
guy.
The guy.
Thank you, Connor.
The absolute guy. All right. So next batch is 40 through 46. And we're looking forward to it. So I guess over and out or something like that. Yeah.
Until next
10-4,
time.
good buddy.
What a barrier.